What's up guys, it's Legend X Ronin, and today I have another topic video for you guys. In today's topic video, I want to discuss who the possible main villain could be for Mortal Kombat 11. Now of course, as of right now, we haven't had the game announced yet, so it's definitely too early to be making assumptions, but based on how the timeline is flowing compared to the previous timeline, there are some very notable choices that we could have as the main villain for the next game. That being said, I narrowed down the options to 3 possible characters who could be the main villain for Mortal Kombat 11. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop it a like to help support my channel. Let's see if we can get this video at least 100 likes. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more Mortal Kombat 11 content and to help this channel reach its next milestone of 10,000 subscribers. Okay, so based on how the old timeline matches up with the new timeline, we all know that the last few stories that haven't been told in the new timeline are the Deadly Alliance, Deception, and Armageddon stories, which the main villains in them were the duo of Shang Tsung and Quan Chi in Deadly Alliance, Onaga in Deception, and Blaze in Armageddon. Personally, I don't see them having a heavy focus on the Deadly Alliance story, so I don't think that this will be a big thing for Mortal Kombat 11. So that leaves the focus to be either an altered Deception or an altered Armageddon story. Now for those of you who don't know what I mean by altered, I pretty much mean them having some of the events of that story implemented into a new story, kind of like how what they did with Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 4's story. All that being said, based on those two stories and the events that took place in Mortal Kombat X, I think that the main villain in Mortal Kombat 11 could possibly be either Onaga, Blaze, or Raiden. As most people have already talked about, Onaga has a good chance at being the main villain in Mortal Kombat 11 for 2 reasons. If you skip the Deadly Alliance story, the Deception story would be the next one, and the fact that he's referenced in Mortal Kombat X's comics a few times. I personally think that Onaga would be awesome to see again, seeing how they have changed things up so much since Mortal Kombat Deception. It would be cool to see Onaga in today's gaming graphics. Then seeing how he would interact with everyone in the story mode or intro dialogues would be simply amazing. I would say though, if they do put him in, they definitely would have to change him up a bit due to how big he is and how his wings are. It would definitely make fighting him kind of weird, you know, with the juggling combos. I would think that they would probably shrink him down in size and do something about his wings and tail. Aliens showed that tails can work in the game, so I'm thinking that dealing with his wings would be the real issue. Other than that, I think that his gameplay with variations, if they do decide to keep them from Mortal Kombat 11, would be really cool to see. In the 3D era, new characters like Onaga really didn't get that many moves, so seeing what they could do with him using the variation system will be very interesting. Overall, Onaga would be a good villain if they do decide to go with him. The only thing that I think could stop him from possibly returning in the new timeline as a character that you will fight against or you could possibly play as would be probably getting those wings to work well mechanically and gameplay wise. I would hate for them to give him the Motaro treatment and kill him off during the cutscenes or in the comics. As far as a role in the story, I talked a bit of story potential for him in previous videos, so if you guys want to check that out, I will leave a link for that in the descriptions below. Next up we have Raiden, who wasn't one of the main villains in the old timeline but could potentially be in the new timeline with a new story that could be set up for it. In the old timeline, Raiden became dark when he sacrificed himself to defeat Onaga, and Onaga's malevolent aura corrupted him when he reformed an Earthrealm. Back then it said that Raiden was tired of mortals and leaving the fate of Earthrealm in their hands. He vowed that he would stop all who threatened Earthrealm and that all Earthrealm mortals will either fight for Earthrealm or be destroyed. He even goes as far as to kill Shujinko in his Mortal Kombat Deception ending due to Shujinko's actions leading to Onaga to return. Though this ending isn't canon, this shows the extent that Raiden is going to prevent anything from threatening Earthrealm. In the new timeline, Raiden has made the same vow of protecting Earthrealm from all who threatens it, so I'm sure that he will go to the same extent this time. He already decapitated Shinnok, so who knows what else he'll do. Raiden going to the extent of preemptively attacking and destroying anyone or anything that could threaten Earthrealm could cause a lot of chaos in the next game due to his ideals and assumptions of what actually is a threat to Earthrealm. He could very well get to the point where he just starts taking out characters within the Mortal Kombat universe and they'll have no choice but to take him out, so he definitely has potential to be the main villain for the next game. We really didn't get to see too much of Dark Raiden in the original timeline, so it's definitely going to be interesting seeing all the things that he may do in the Mortal Kombat 11 story and possibly the comics as well. If he becomes the main villain, I would for sure be interested in seeing how dark he'll actually get. Like, I wonder how bad things will get by the time it's time to face him at the end of the story. Who all would he possibly kill before he stops? I gotta say, I wouldn't be against Raiden taking the lead as the main villain. However, I will say I'm curious about what it would be like fighting him in the arcade mode. For instance, would he explode like how most final bosses do in Mortal Kombat? Or will you actually be able to perform a fatality on him like how you could in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance when you defeated Quan Chi and Shang Tsung? Guess we'll just have to wait and see if he does become the main villain for Mortal Kombat 11. Lastly, we have Blaze, who would definitely be a wild card if he does happen to become the main villain for Mortal Kombat 11. As you guys know, Blaze had a cameo in Mortal Kombat X where he appeared in the background of the pit stage. Now, most of us could just make that assumption that this is a reference to the Pit 2 stage back in the second Mortal Kombat game, but with the appearance of Dagon in the Mortal Kombat X comics, the mentioning of Onaga in the comics, and Taven's awakening being shown in Takeda and Kenshi's Mortal Kombat X endings, we could possibly have a setup for a Mortal Kombat Armageddon story. Now, I definitely do think that it is a bit of a stretch, but I don't think it's impossible, so let me take a second to explain this. Blaze first appeared as a canon character in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, where his story was that he was forced by Onaga's holy man to guard the last Dragon Egg, which would eventually bring about the return of Onaga. In the original timeline, after Onaga was freed in Mortal Kombat Deception, Blaze was freed from his duty of guarding the Dragon Egg and returned to his main mission of deciding the outcome of Armageddon. Blaze has the choice of deciding when to awaken Dagon and Taven, and in the old timeline, when Blaze returned back from his former mission, he saw how many more combatants there were since he had been in prison, and how powerful they are, and even realized that Onaga was back, which caused him to set the events of Armageddon in motion. Now, with all that being said, it's possible that Mortal Kombat 11 could be the events of this timeline's Armageddon. If Onaga happens to be revived, that means that Blaze could be freed from his imprisonment, and he'll return to his main mission concerning Armageddon. With Raiden running amok, destroying all things that threatens Earthrealm, Onaga having returned, and Dagon already being awakened, Blaze could see all of this and decide to set the events of Armageddon in motion. Not to mention the mysterious woman who is controlling Jay could possibly be Delia, the sorceress who created Blaze for this reason. Delia can see into the future, so she could have easily faked her death and could be manipulating events so that Armageddon could happen differently this time around, which would explain why she sent Jay to show these visions about Armageddon to Katana and Katana's Mortal Kombat X ending. She could very well be manipulating the events to bring about or change the course of Armageddon. But getting back to Blaze, all this could lead up to Armageddon being the focus of Mortal Kombat 11 and Blaze being the main villain. Would be kind of crazy, but I think that it's possible to wrap up Deception and Armageddon together in one story if NetherRealm Studios really wanted to. I will say that if this were to happen, then the Mortal Kombat 11 comics would have to have a lot of build up to explain for the Mortal Kombat 11 story, because this would definitely be a lot to try to have in the cinematic story, and the roster for the game would probably have to be pretty big as well, which is why I agree that this theory overall is a bit of a stretch. But these are the three characters who I think could possibly be the main villain for Mortal Kombat 11. Of course, there are other possibilities like Liu Kang and Katana, or even Shang Tsung and Quan Chi returning for a Deadly Alliance, but I believe that the three characters I named have a much more higher chance of possibly filling this role. Though I would love to see Onaga be the main villain for the next game, I think that it would be cool to see any of these characters as the main antagonist. If Blaze does by any chance become the main villain for Mortal Kombat 11, then that would mean that the new timeline would be caught up with the old timeline, and also means that everything else from there on out would once again be unexpected and new to all of us, which admittedly I think would be very exciting to look forward to. But what do you guys think about either of these three characters being the main villain for Mortal Kombat 11? And if you have your own thoughts on a different main villain, who do you think it could be? Be sure to let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop it a like to help support my channel. Let's see if we can get this video to that 100 likes marker. I'd really appreciate it. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at X Ronin to keep up with all things I do with my channel, and to join in on the many Mortal Kombat discussions that we have. Also, I have a Discord that you guys can join for more discussions as well. I'll leave a link for that in the descriptions below. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to check out my other videos and subscribe and hit the notification bell for all things Mortal Kombat 11. This is X Ronin, and I'll see you guys later.